What is the client's KPI up until now? Actual figures.
The fact that they weren't capitalizing on the Instagram market was ridiculous.
Scaling is like having multiple parts.
Why do digital agencies do that? We'll be sharing all of it. Cool guys, so today we are going to run through a couple of our client testimonials. Just like some feedback that some of our clients gave, and I think more to give you guys a little bit of like, because generally when you see these ads, you see clients sharing testimonials, and it feels a little bit like, was this thing staged? Like, you sometimes need a little bit of like context and background to it. And we're hoping for today is to like unpack in a very unboring, interesting way to unpack exactly like where did we get to the solution of these clients, and also what our like pain problems and journey with these clients were. But we're going to keep it informal, we're going to keep it fun, we're going to keep it light, but we are also not going to withhold or retrieve and keep back any sort of agency secret sauce. Nice. And like nuggets. We'll be sharing all of it. So let me just like jump straight into it.
Hello, I'm Derek Du Toit. I'm the CEO of New Cape Central Railway, as well as of Wonders Team Trains in Pretoria. And the two entities operate in the same environment, and that is in tourism and rail tourism specifically, but more so on the heritage side. When it comes to marketing, you can take it to a point, but then you start needing professionals, because you can build a bit of a brand, but it comes to a point where you've done everything that you know, and it then becomes obvious that you need to get specialists in to then take it to that next step.
At what point does it become obvious that you need professionals?
Probably when you've reached a capacity, when you're like, this is the ceiling and we can't break that ceiling. Because sometimes you get someone to literally get a hammer and to just shatter that glass ceiling that you put up, because a brand can go however high you want it to grow. Depends on who you're working with, I suppose.
So in this client's case, like we were sitting on like to full trains, because he's in the train game, and tourism, like ecotourism in Robertson, beautiful Robertson, like enjoying wine and pleasant experiences and celebrations.
Yeah, they were running their own sort of promotions on their social media, but they weren't hitting results. And I think that's where they kind of felt it, throwing budget sort of at this machine and not really seeing results.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we took over the account, I mean, I shared with you as well, like there was a lot of data they were sitting on. Like it was just not being optimized.
And that was quite cool, eh? Because at least with this client there were data. I remember also that they threw around some figures initially of like running a Facebook ad, and they I mean, we didn't even like look at the targeting or the audience that they targeted, but that was something like around like 17 cents or something. So they knew let's call it the technical lingo, and they also knew the metrics. So there was like an understanding in terms of like, okay, cool, these are the metrics that we need to determine, see whether or not we are in fact, driving successful ads, and what the net effect of that is. But Tarquin, speak to us a little bit about like, there's a difference between getting a super cheap cost per click for traffic, but then in terms of like making sure that thing actually is return on investment, like how do you?
Yeah, I think every industry has its challenges when it comes to like getting in front of the right person, getting that target market to actually like appeal to your content, to your ad, and getting that result ultimately. So they had like great CPC, like you said. I mean, I think that was, they quickly like kind of put me in a position where I was
challenged.
Forward.
Exactly. So, I mean, for us coming into that, CPC, the cost per click was really looking quite good. But I think for what they wanted to achieve, which was like capacity trains, week on week.
100%.
100% capacity. Sometimes I think they would even go over capacity at times, right? And
can I just like, what was the KPI? Like what is the client's KPI up until now? Like actual figures? Like
110 tickets per week.
to sell 110 tickets per week.
Which is equivalent to a full train.
Yeah.
Equivalent to a full train.
And it's not like selling milk or petrol that you need. It's more like, okay, this is a leisure item.
There's an advantage because they know better methodologies of getting to the correct market, or they will test it differently from what you as an individual will do, because you are basically there as a novice in a world of experts. Obviously said, let's do a initial test run and see how it goes. And then obviously because of your performance, it was then easy to say, let's just continue with this.
I think that's also one of the biggest components where, as an agency, and also why we win clients over is because of our offers, right? And it's very much also like putting yourself in the hot seat, where it's like, okay, cool, we're going to give you this offer. So our offers generally is a 1 month free pilot, but then with expectational KPIs and results at the end of that month. And I think that there's two components to that. There's obviously, firstly is like the client, there's a no obligation towards the client, where it's like, okay, cool, let's see what they can actually do. But then on the flip side for us, there's a lot of work that needs to go into a 1 month free, right? And we also like almost not gambling, but it's almost like trading with our resource, our time, our skill, building that into this 1 month. And then from there, the pressure of, cool, we got the KPI, the client know what the expectation is, like can we then actually deliver to the extent and then to show the results at the end of the month.
Yeah, and I think it's important because a lot of guys I've spoken to, they've had bad experiences with marketing agencies that they say they're going to deliver this, and then actually what the outcome is.
Why do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Why do digital agencies do that? Like, I get it. Like if you start your business, if you start your digital agency, you know, you tend to like sometimes overpromise, right? Just in order to get the client. But I mean, then if you're going to do that, stick it out. Like stick it out till the end and figure it out, because don't give us a bad rap. Giving agencies that actually drive results a bad rap.
Yeah, because like we can tell a client we're going to deliver X, and then when the push comes to shove and we haven't delivered, then it's on us. And if we have delivered, we can show them once there's those KPIs in place to be like, we need to sell 110 tickets a week. And when we're selling 110 tickets a week, we can go back to the client and be, well, this is what you've asked and this is what you've delivered. And then, yeah, so it's a nice pat on the back, even after that first month as a trial, to be like, we've performed well. A month is a very short amount of time.
No, it's super short.
It's very short.
It's no pressure, eh?
Yeah, and I think when we started Feb, it was a short month as well. That was, yeah.
We started with a Valentine's Day competition. I remember,
I think also that sometimes clients, if you're feeling sick and you need to go to the doctor, you go there for the expertise and advice of the doctor. And only the doctor can then give you a diagnosis and be like, okay, cool, this is in fact what you need. You don't, at this point in time, you don't need cough syrup, you need antibiotics. Because if you don't get this, then you simply just won't recover. And I think becoming a doctor as an agency, and that's basically also how we treat all of these discovery sessions and also these 1 month pilots, is to dive deep into like, I hear you and I hear that this is what you want, but this is not necessarily what you need. And I think that comes through like years of building relationships, etc. But Tarquin, we never really had, up until recent, we've identified that the KPI document that clients need to sign before we even send them a contract, like that's something that we only even recently like started, right?
Implemented. Yeah, because I think like lines get blurred, water gets a bit muddy sometimes, because we feel like we're doing a great job, we're achieving results, but the clients are completely happy sometimes, and then that sort of tarnishes the relationship. You don't even want to go to the meeting sometimes because you know what's coming. But ultimately, when we get that KPI document signed, everything's there. there's complete alignment. I mean, we both end up sitting happy on either side of the table in the meeting, because we both know what we're there for. We both know what we're doing. Yeah.
It's just like solidify like what the expectation is, because sometimes clients be like, yo, I want my business to grow. It's like, okay, cool. If you're in the automotive game or in the software development game, it's like there's a hell of a lot of stuff that you can and need to do in order to grow your business. But from a digital agency perspective, we can do magic. Like good agencies can really, really, really build and scale big businesses and make them even bigger. However, if there isn't a aligned KPI, like the key performance indicators that we have as a company is to deliver X, Y, and Z, and it needs to be factual, right? Like measurable, like actual numbers. Whereas in Derek's case, which we enjoyed, was 132 train tickets. So there wasn't anything like foreign or like gray. There was no gray area to it. And I think that document assists us to like divide the black and the white from each other.
So I think what Hive brought to us is a more professional approach, where it is planned and it is structured, and they can then come back after they've done that a month later, and we can look at what we've received insofar as clicks, market reach, new markets and everything like that. I think that is the best advantage that we see from this.
He mentioned here like a very interesting word, which is like being professional, right? And like you sitting here with your slops, I'm here literally in my shorts. You're the professional one, yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
So, like, I wonder, Jess, like, could you, like, your opinion in terms of like professionalism? Because our clients mentioned multiple times that they sense a structured sense of professionalism, like when they work with us. Like, where does that come from? Like, where is that embodied in our like dealings and doing?
I think, like, in my opinion, people appreciate the fact that we've spent time planning. So it's not just, I wake up today, let me think of a post for today. Like, no, our content is planned and structured well in advance. We look at what's happening, important dates to consider, as well as what the need for every particular post is. So every post that a client sees, it's been stress tested internally. It goes through from the designers to the social media managers to the account managers, and only once us as account managers are happy will we share that with the client. So there's a whole lot of internal stress testing, because you never want our content to be lackluster or missing the mark or below the Hive standard.
Why?
So I think we'd like, for me and I'd say, speaking on behalf of the team, is that we take pride in our work. For me personally, I always want to see the brands exceeding their own expectations. So to exceed expectations, you need to exceed your own expectations on what content can and should look like. So never settling for a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, aiming for a 9, 10 as an ideal, and then working from that place. Because it's also important to remember, as an agency, you're not working with one person, you're working with an entire team, with their own creative input, with their own experience, with their own niche preferences and skills and talents. So when it comes to like hiring an agency versus hiring just a person, you're hiring a team of experts, not just an expert. So when it comes to professionalism, we have set structures in place to deliver results. We work on that recipe, and that recipe keeps on churning out good quality content, good client testimonials, as you're seeing, and at the end of the day, return on investment, meeting KPI. So it comes down to, I'd say, have like really good structures in place to deliver those results.
If you get to a point where, listen, my company is extremely, extremely important to me, and I'm in this blood, sweat, and tears. And whether it's a startup or whether it's a company that has been going for years, and you need to as a business owner, like you need to be sure that you're running the race with the right people. and they need to be in it. So they need to be well prepared. They need to, when they give you stats and the results, it needs to not just be, this is how many likes we got on a post. Like, no, this is actually the thing that we agreed upon initially before we signed the contract, that KPI, that expectation, this is how far we're actually moving towards reaching that mark in the duration where we are. I think it's, as an agency, you know, like you've mentioned, we entire like 21 people of all creative, different individuals, you know, like aligning that then with the client, you know, it sometimes can be and is sometimes very difficult. It's not just like easy, you know, like swinging and cutting, but I agree at the end of the day, I think is very much aligned towards what the client's KPI is, and that we embody that. Like, that is the ultimate like thing that we work towards.
Say there's a specific train that we've added due to demand, Hive will then immediately go out and market. And we've seen, especially over the last, I'd say 2 months, we've had exceptional growth. We had more than 60 bookings just in the afternoon yesterday to 100 bookings. And that's definitely because of your ads.
I don't know that people really know like how difficult the ask is. Like, can you please fill a train 60 tickets a day for us in order to sell out this event? Like, there were times where we pull our hair out, especially at the beginning, right? Where it's like, okay, how are we actually going to do this? And this is what he's going to prelude towards now. But it's not an easy target.
One of the examples where Hive has come in, and I think it's important to note that, I mean, I'm old school, so our social media marketing was based only in Facebook. But that's what I know. We didn't do anything on Instagram, nothing whatsoever. And I think Hive grew our Instagram to about 9,000, if I'm not mistaken, in the 6 months. One of the parts that was obviously very good is the fact that Hive has brought the importance of influencers to us. One of the instances that was quite important for us and that we've had incredible exposure was, for example, the wine girl. That specific reel and that whole thing that was brought to us did incredibly well. I think between Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, I think our reach was between 500 to 1 million clicks and views, which is incredible for us.
Maybe we should just like rewind that and play that over and over. So between 500 and 1 million in a month in terms of reach, what was the actual result of that single video in terms of like a metrical component that we got from that?
Sure.
We got the 7% short CPC.
7 cents.
7 cent CPC.
Yeah.
That video, yeah. That was the one. And I think
that was
like,
a runner.
Yeah, it's interesting that he mentioned, like, I think from a social media perspective, we definitely brought something fresh. But I think from a marketing agency and like strategically, the fact that they weren't capitalizing on the Instagram market was ridiculous. I mean, it's such an enjoyable experience that they have to offer. And yeah, the place was like prime for content. Like the videos we saw was perfect. I mean, the influencers enjoy it. They were just going crazy with the reels. They were, yeah. Jason knows more about that though.
And it's also not just like, obviously UGC is so powerful on social media, but it's also taking that content and using it for the purpose of bookings. Like, it's nice to get like some like likes and follows and stuff, but going it back to the end goal, like the KPI, we booked about 3 or 4 trains just from one video. You know, and it's like,
and the effect of that on top of that was the fact that we grew the page in a couple of months to 9,000 followers. But that wasn't the primary KPI. The KPI was like, let's figure out how we're gonna fill the damn trains. Yeah, that was the biggest component of that. And
free wine or food, just by the way.
Oh yeah, there wasn't any massive offer. Yeah. And I think also why Instagram and TikTok works, especially shop ads and influencing the buying behavior of consumers through Facebook and through Instagram and TikTok, especially with those shorter videos. It's like give me a reason to buy this thing. Like, sell me the experience, sell me the solution. Like, I'm sitting with the problems, I'm sitting with all these things, and if like we saw, if you can just position the ads in such a way that you can actually give the consumer the permission to buy, the rationale around it to buy. You know, it's some industries obviously works better than other industries to do that. But I mean, everyone, if you think about it, everyone is now way more than in the past easily influenced. Just give them a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, so far as the cost of contracting with a agency to do work for you is always a difficult decision to make. There's a lot of people that go out there and promote themselves as social media gurus and influencers. And they come to you with a decent pitch about their ability and so on, and they will basically undercut the market and offer you something like 5,000 Rand a month or something like that. And it seems to be then a good choice because it fits within your budget, but it fits in your present budgets. And sometimes you have to go with a professional team that maybe costs a little bit more, but they know what they do. And they're there for the long run. They're not fly-by-nights, and they're not there to score a quick buck. And then when you decide that this is not for you, they've basically rode on your coattails for 4 or 5 or 6 months, and you've lost 4 or 5 or 6 months that you could have had much more growth had you gone with a bit more expensive, but more professional team.
I think also that's sometimes like quite difficult to break the mental model on cost. And agency. It's like, okay, cool, well, if I have to pay 15 grand a month, I can just employ someone. It's sometimes also difficult, I think, from a sales perspective, is like to add the value so that they can understand that this is, and I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to like smaller companies doesn't necessarily make it easy, because it's like any company, no matter how big or how small, if their price range is in the region of 2,000 to 5,000 Rand a month, then that is just what the market-related price might be. But your expectation and consumers' expectation to an end result is exceptionally higher when they pay more. So there's like a price psychology associated to it, but then also there's an agency practicality associated to it. It's like, if there's 2 people in the company, cool, maybe we could do it for 6.5 or 7. But I mean, if the team is bigger, if the client base that they are running is more, it requires more skill and more knowledge and more, just more. Obviously there's higher overheads, and also I'm of the opinion that any agencies should charge as high as you possibly can. Why? Because also, again, price psychology. I mean, you know, there's something built into us, I think all of us, whether or not, you know, you are Christian or not, but there's a component of stewardship. Like, you'll start feeling a little bit like icky when you know, man, I've actually charged this guy 150 grand, but I know for a fact that what he wants, I won't necessarily be able to deliver it. So if once that feeling starts arising, then, you know, you're pretty much going to overdrive of like, okay, cool, how can I increase the value of perception that I'm bringing, like my standard, like how do you actually grow that? And I think that you can forcefully hijack and forcefully create a speed growth within your own company if you charge double, because you'll put yourself under more pressure in order to actually achieve the KPI and those expectations.
Yeah, I like the fact that, I mean, you said it. It's so difficult for people to understand at times, because there's the stigma around marketing and social media and things. I think we constantly have to push back at that by showing the value that we add to businesses, show the results. So I think it's so important that like a client recognizes that if I'm paying for quality, I'm going to get quality at the end of the day. If I throw peanuts, I can expect peanuts back and throw it back at me, you know? So, I mean, I love the fact that he said it, because I think the price point becomes too much of the focal point. And it actually, like, what he said was so important. At the time, what your existing budget is, but actually, if you have a forward-thinking mentality and you have a vision of where you want your business to be, To actually think of like what revenue do you want to be earning one day? Then what is your budget actually? And you should actually be thinking about that stage of your business, because that's what we do. We grow the brands, like Jason said, we grow brands to that extent. We push them to that level. And I mean, that's what we want to do, and that's what we get when we get given the right tools and the right opportunity as well.
So it starts with the KPI. It starts with that. It doesn't necessarily start with what I need now. It's like, no, what, like you want to grow this business, right? Like how far, and what is your expectation in order to like what is it? Like how many is it? Like let's be specific. I mean, we even had clients where the expectation was like low, and we were like, well, are you like, we were like, this month, or like, when do you want to reach this thing?
Daily results or monthly.
Yeah. And I think it's important to like almost like analyze, where do you want to not just grow, scale. There's a difference between growing and scaling, right? Growing something is like marginally, it's like
a plant, that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You can grow a plant, but scaling is like having multiple plants.
100%, yeah. Multiple plants bearing multiple pieces of fruit.
You will use my plant.